Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us again. I appreciate everyone who's here. We are going to be discussing one of our newest features in Peerceptiv today, the team member evaluation tool, which Megan Riley, who is our customer support manager, is going to be running you through this webinar. If you have any questions, please just put them in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat, and I'll either inject those questions if there's an appropriate time, or wait till the end and we'll answer them there. But rest assured, any questions that get posted in the chat will be answered. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Megan.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We want to talk about a new tool that we have, team member evaluation, that we are very excited about. So 1 second, let me share my screen. And we'll get started. All right. So team member evaluation allows people to evaluate your group members anonymously and quickly and easily. So I know for me as a teacher, there have been times where I've put students in groups and I know that something has been up. I can tell they're not clicking. And I think one of the things that this tool allows you to do is gives you real-time data on how your students are working together and how they're working together and how they're actually going through the process, depending on how you run it. So let's get started and talk about it. Today we'll do an overview of what team member evaluation is, talk about it from the teacher side, show you what it looks like from the student side, talk about different possibilities, and then what I've called extras, just some different ways that you can use it or tools that go along with it. So let's get started. Team member evaluation lets your students evaluate their group members with numerical ratings and qualitative commenting prompts. So they can both give some feedback in terms of how that person ranks compared with the other group members, and then they also give feedback with some specific suggestions for improvements or things that the person did well, like you're a natural leader, or you always came to the group meetings on time. It gives them a little bit of a chance to get some additional feedback to the group members. And again, it's anonymous. So if I'm in a group, I don't know who gave me which feedback. I'm just reading the comments. It also provides you as the teacher with data on participation, who's actually doing the work. Is one person doing all the work, or is the work evenly spread among the entire group? Comprehension. Again, is one person understanding the concepts and just pulling the whole group, or is everyone contributing? Does everyone have an idea of what's going on in the class? And then if someone doesn't, you can stop. It's a great opportunity to go back over the concepts or pull the person aside and try to help increase their comprehension to improve their learning outcomes. The same with teamwork and any other soft skills. Soft skills are becoming more and more important in the workplace. And the high school and university setting is the perfect place to encourage soft skills. And this kind of group work can help students to analyze things that they maybe haven't thought about before. You know, how much do I have to participate in a group meeting? Can I just sit in the corner? Well, no, but they might not know that. And so this kind of setting is a nice way to give them feedback on their participation or these other soft skills. The way team member evaluation is set up is we have sort of an out-of-the-box rubric, which you can use making no changes, it's ready to go, or you can have custom criteria. If you use the standard rubric, it rates students on communication, overall contribution, content knowledge and skills, professionalism, and work ethic. Of course, you can delete all 5, add your own, keep 2, change 3, only have students rate each other on 2. It's completely customizable. The students receive a task completion grade, but they're not graded on their ratings. So if my group members say I did not participate, I did not communicate well, and they give me all scores of 1, that actually won't affect my grade. What will affect my grade is just if I rated other students, if I completed my team member evaluations. So this is actually kind of a safety. If you have a group where 3 of the group members are good friends, but they really hate the 4th member, they can't affect that member's grade. They can only do their evaluations to receive their score, their task completion score. And you can create a standalone team member evaluation, or you can include it with any Peerceptiv group assignment. So you can just have group members evaluate each other, or you can put this as the 4th step of a group assignment, where the first would be uploading a group document, each student performing reviews, each student performing back evaluations, and during the review and back evaluation period, they would also need to complete the team member evaluation. If they do this, then the team member evaluation becomes 1/4 of the task grade, and that's how students are assessed. Again, the actual ratings they receive don't go into the team member evaluation grade. So let's get started showing you the teacher side of team member evaluation. We'll go over some course settings and then set up an assignment, and just a few reminders of things that we won't cover when I'm showing the tool to you, so I wanted to talk about them now. The first is to set the dates carefully. This is a brand new tool that we've rolled out. We have a couple of different updates and upgrades planned. One of the upgrades will allow people to more easily change the publication date and different dates, but right now, if you set a publication date, you can't, if you set a publication date for Friday and then you can publish it today, but you can't say publish it for Thursday or Saturday. Now that's going to be changing soon, but as of right now, you want to be careful to set the dates carefully so that you don't need to go back and create a new assignment. That is not true for Peerceptiv assignments, though. Those, it's very easy to change the dates, just the team member evaluation ones. Also, a recommendation, the tool will work most easily for everyone if the groups are set ahead of time. We have a nice tool for teachers to just upload groups so that the groups can be preset before it gets started. Students can also join a group, create their own groups. That's not a problem at all, but you do need to make sure that your groups have been formed before the team member evaluation begins. If group members change groups or are added after the team member evaluation begins, it just makes it a little bit more complicated. Students who have already completed their evaluation have to go back and evaluate the new team member. They can also change any of their other settings for the previous evaluations for their team members. But it's smoothest and best if for team member evaluation, you can have your group set before the evaluation period opens, and in group assignments with team member evaluation, if you can have your if you can have your groups set before uploading the document, that makes it much, much easier. And the teacher, from the teacher side, you're able to view the full results, and we'll show you that in a little bit, but I did want to make sure that you know, as a teacher, you can view the ratings each student received, the comments each student received, to give you some good real-time data on how your groups are doing. So let me go out of the slideshow and into my course to set up a course for the class. Let me go here. This is sort of the cooking version of a webinar. I have the same class at different points to be able to show you different views. So I'm in Peerceptiv. Go to my class, group member eval webinar class. I click on that, and I'm going to set up an assignment. The first thing I see are the course settings, which I've already set up, but you would need to set them up if it was your first time. One thing I want to note is the course settings are the same whether you're doing just team member evaluation or whether you're doing assignments and team member evaluation. There's a default, a choice that says allow review without upload. The default is no. if you're just using team member evaluation, you could have yes or no, and this question doesn't matter. If you have assignments where students are uploading documents, then you need to decide if you want to allow students to complete reviews without having uploaded documents. But if you're just using Peerceptiv for team member evaluation, you can have yes or no here, and it doesn't matter. So let's look at actually creating an assignment. You get to this stage and you want to go up to assignments and say new assignment. I'm calling it group work weeks 1 through 4. For the sake of time, I'm just going to copy and paste the same thing here as the description, but of course you could have a more thorough description. I'm going to say next, and then when it says assignment type, that's what you want to change to team member eval only. And when you change it to team eval only, the assignment wizard goes from being its typical setup to a much shorter, faster setup. So I said team eval only. Next, I do need to set my deadlines. My assignment publication date, it must be in the future. You can, once you've finished it, you can publish it immediately, but it does need to be in the future. So I'll say it starts tomorrow, and I'm setting a review deadline of Friday for this assignment. And I say next. The advanced settings, you can keep the defaults or change them. Again, if you hold the grades for manual or release, that means that they won't be passed back to the LMS. And as I said earlier, for team member eval, the grade is just task completion. So I'm going to keep the defaults and say submit. Once I've done this, if I want to publish it immediately, I can go up to the top and click here, and then my assignment has been published. Now, for this assignment, I need to set up my group members. So I'm going to go here to group members. Later, I'll show you a group upload tool, but for right now, I'm just going to take the easy way out and use some groups that I'd set up previously. So I can copy those from an assignment. I copy all the groups, and my groups are set up. As I said earlier, at the end, I'll show you a tool that we have where you can easily take groups that you've already set up in Blackboard or Canvas, copy them into this tool, and your groups will be set up immediately. I actually did this for an instructor who had a class, I think around 200 or 250 students in the group. The tool worked instantaneously. So that makes it very nice. So your groups are set up. You go back to assignment. We're going to go to current assignment because I want us to look at the characteristics, the rubric. We go to open team eval, and that takes us to the 5 characteristics: communication, professionalism, content knowledge and skills, work ethic, and overall contribution. You can click on the pencil. This will allow you to see the category, the description. So these are categories and characteristics that we at Peerceptiv have put together based on research into teamwork and what schools and what K-12 schools, what universities, and what human resource managers are looking for in teamwork. What makes a good group or team work? You're welcome to keep them. You can also change them. So here you have the name, the description. We list a number of different behaviors to consider. So for communication, are they using academic dialogue, listening to other team members, offering and accepting feedback constructively, facilitating positive interactions among team members, etc. Again, you can keep this as it is, or if this doesn't fit your context, you can edit it or delete it as appropriate. If you keep it and press next, then you get the rubric. So oftentimes, especially at say a university setting, your students won't need to know the specific rating descriptors. But if you're working with K-12 students or a different context, it might be helpful for your students to know what are the differences between a 5, a 4, 3, 2, 1? And they're here for the students to see. So we'll say submit. When you're done with your rubric, you can go back to Peerceptiv, and this will take you to the list, and our class is set up. Our assignment is published, so students can actually go in and complete the assignment. I'm going to jump over to the assignment that I've already started so that you can see it from a student perspective. But before I do that, I want to open up to see if there are any questions. All right, I'll take a moment. If you do have any questions, you can ask now or send a chat, and in a minute or so, I'll go on to the student side.
I have a question. This is Isaac.
Sure.
When you say on the grading part of it, you mentioned that the student don't actually receive, the rating does not count against the student.
Right.
So if it doesn't count, why? I mean, I'm a little confused on that portion. So what counts then? Why do they have to rate themselves to see if they're doing what they're supposed to do if it doesn't count?
Right. So as a tool, what counts is if they complete the ratings, and then they get the feedback. Now, you as the instructor could choose to create a grading category that takes some of the ratings into consideration. So you could choose to do that, but as a tool provider, okay, we can't say we don't know all of the contexts, so we can't say how it should count. We want to leave that up to the instructor. You know your students and the assignment and their context best, so that you can choose how the grading should be applied.
Oh, okay. So the instructor have an option to choose if they want it to apply or not.
Right. You would be able to do that.
Okay.
You would then need to set up in your own grade book a separate category for that. We don't provide a category for that, but you would be able to do that. And we would just say, make it very clear to your students then that their performance in their group counts.
Counts. Okay.
Yeah. Good question. Thank you.
All right.
All right, let me show you what it looks like from a student perspective. So let me open up another browser, and we'll go in. This is student course, and we're going to look at the partial assignment. So you can see from the student side, rarely would you want to give all of your assignments the same name, but the assignment that we just created is this bottom one, and then we're going to do the partial one. So you get to see it from a student side, but you would click, the students would click on view assignment. If the students were uploading themselves into groups, they can click on group members. They can add someone to the class with their email. The person does have to be a registered and have joined the class. So you do want to make sure that all students have clicked into Peerceptiv, because they will not, until they are part of the class, they can't join a group. You as the teacher, though, can, if you upload your students' names, you can then upload and create groups. So the students can create groups. They can always click back on the little icon to get back into their class, and we'll go back and open Team Eval. So for this class, Jonathan Olshock, our development person here at Peerceptiv, is in a group with R2-D2 and Darth Vader from Star Wars. So he's rating their communication. For students, they have the rubric category or criteria, the description here. They can click and view the rubric so to see the different descriptors. And they simply choose how well each team member fits these descriptors. So for communication, R2-D2 beeps a lot, so he gets a score of 4. Darth Vader does not communicate, well, he communicates, but he doesn't listen to other team members, doesn't accept feedback constructively, so he gets a score of 1. Professionalism, we'll go through this as well. Content knowledge and skills, say 5. Darth Vader has good content knowledge and skills, so he gets a 5 in that. Work ethic, R2-D2 is always working. Darth Vader, perhaps a 1. Overall contribution, you would hope that your students are taking this, are going through this more slowly, but it should be fairly easy for them. We wanted to make it student friendly so they can click the numbers. It does say at the top that the 5 is highest, 3 is average, and 1 is lowest. And it's set up like this with the numbers going across so that the students can will hopefully really think about, you know, how did R2-D2 communicate in comparison with Darth Vader? Who fits these criteria better? And give the better score to that person, and then the lower score to the person who did not communicate as well. When they've assigned ratings to their group members, they click next, and they have a chance to give comments. These are required in the out-of-the-box version. And one of the reasons we do that is so that the students aren't just seeing numbers, but they're getting some specific feedback. So we can say, for example, you were always working hard. And Darth Vader, you were not you did not participate in any of our projects. And submit. It went to the screen. What it should go to is a screen that is saying, what it should go to is a screen that's saying that the evaluation has been completed and is done. Let me hop over now to the assignment that is completed, that everyone has completed their assignment, and let's go in and look at that. So I'm looking at this one from the teacher perspective again. I'll go to Open Team Eval, and I'm taken directly to the results. So the results, I see the group numbers, and they're actually arranged by groups, so I can compare the group members. I get each average rating for the different criteria, and I can view comments. For the students, they're only able to view their own, the comments that they received and the feedback that they received. So if I'm in a group with Luke Skywalker and C-3PO, I can see the comments and ratings they gave me, but I can't see their comments or their ratings. But the teacher, you get a view of everything. All right, let me hop back to the slideshow, but first, are there any questions? Any questions about the teacher's view or the student view?
Yes, this is Martha. Can you see who was the person that wrote the comment?
No. So well, at this view, the results view, no. What you can do, let me go back. You have access to view the students' activity. So I can go in to the students and I can see their activity logs. And that should allow me to see what they said. Because I didn't use real students, I may not be able to see it, but you should be able to, in the activity log, see what a student wrote. Let me just confirm with Jonathan that that's true. Yeah. The activity log should be able to show you. Again, for the purpose of this demo, I went in and acted as a student, so their activity logs don't appear the way they normally would if students actually logged in. Thank you.
Thanks. I understand. It's only, yeah, to know when maybe not very good comment or an offensive comment
Right.
appear, you as a teacher, you can do something about it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you would be able to know. You would be able to know who wrote it. And I think what's nice about this tool is if you're doing it regularly. You know, if you have a final project where students are turning things in through stages, you could have them use this tool maybe once a month or midterm, and then again at the final. So you would actually be able to get some of that sense now that people are angry or upset, or it's just not a good working environment, and you might be able to go in and help to mediate or change some of those factors rather than it just being not a good team environment the entire semester. Any other questions at this point? All right, let me go back to the slideshow. There's just a few more things that I want to cover. So we've talked about the teacher side, the student side of team member evaluation. As I said, students can set up their own groups. They evaluate their group members and they see the feedback that their group members gave them. As we've talked about already, if you'd use team member evaluation as the last part of a group assignment, you want to set up the assignment type as group. And then on the reviewing screen, you want to go down to enable team member evaluation and say yes. And that will have team member evaluation be available from the beginning of the reviewing period until the assignment closes at the back evaluation period. You can use team member evaluation for final group projects. As I said before, to monitor in-class group work. You could even do it, you know, if you have a kind of a workshop class where they're in groups the entire class, you could have them do it at the end of class or right after that class. And there might be situations where you have a group of TAs who are working together, or a cohort of new instructors, or some group where you could use this even outside the classroom. Really, the last thing I want to talk about is the group member upload. This is a tool that you can use to quickly and easily upload your groups. Let me pull the screen down. It is available. A link is available both on the in our knowledge base, and also when you go to the upload page, you can download, or I'm sorry, it's the Google Sheets. You need to make a copy of it. Once you've made a copy, you can download from Blackboard or Canvas your student's first name, last name, email, group number, and then column E is automatically populated. This is for roster upload or student upload with email, first name, last name. And column F, I went too far, column F is automatically populated for group member upload with their emails. You just copy that information and paste it right into the upload table, and it works very quickly and easily. You don't have to worry about typos or making spacing errors if you take it right from the roster. All right, let me go back here. So that's a nice tool end. That's all I have in the webinar. Any additional questions?
Yes. I have a question about what happens when there are no emails.
When students don't have email addresses?
Yes, I go to Peerceptiv through Moodle, and we don't have any email addresses for our students.
Hi, Etienne. This is Jonathan again. In order to, what you'll do is just for creating the groups. Is that what you're asking about?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear your response. My speakers were off.
Yes, it's for the group.
Sure. I'll take a look at yours specifically because Moodle is a different kind of beast. But I believe what we have are student ID numbers.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So as long as you download student ID numbers, that will work. That should work as well.
Okay.
but I'll follow up with you afterwards, and I'll take a look at one of your courses to make sure that spreadsheet formats properly.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome. And I also wanted to answer Martha's question from earlier. I was chatting with our tech team as you asked that question, and they said that the next version will include the names on the teacher view of the people who commented on that student. So that is expected to be deployed later this week or early next week. So the teachers will have that right on that pop-out view. It'll say which student left that comment.
Okay, this is Isaac. I have a question.
Sure.
Please forgive me if you already answered it at the beginning because I cannot join you guys a few minutes after. Has this group tool now been rolled out?
Yes, it is rolled out. It's available for use. As Jonathan just said, there is an upgrade planned later this week or early next week, but right now as it stands, you can use it. And some schools are already using it. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right, great. Thank you.
Because it's so new, there is information in the help center, the knowledge base for both instructors and students, but it is new. So please feel free to reach out to Jonathan and me, and we can guide you through the process as everyone's getting started with it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much for attending our webinar, and we will email the slides out to you. If you have any questions, please let us know, and thanks again for coming. Bye.
Thank you.
I think you actually need to end the meeting.